you're playing the wrong rogue spec right now, you're just making the game harder for you. Less damage, slower kills, and more mistakes. And the worst part, most players don't even realize it. So before you commit to a spec in Midnight, you need to watch this video. Since Midnight launched, I've been testing all 3 rogue specs in real content. Not just sims, not just theory, but actual gameplay. And I keep getting the same question everywhere. What's the best rogue spec right now? So let's answer it properly. So let's start with Assassination. So Assassination is the safest spec that you can play right now. Has very consistent damage, it's easy to execute properly, it's strong with low gear, and doesn't punish mistakes too hard. You keep your bleeds up, cycle your venoms, and it just works. A quick tip, uptime is everything. You don't overcomplicate it. So the verdict is really simple. It's reliable, but it's not the best spec right now. But it depends a lot on your playstyle. Because if you don't feel very comfortable playing Outlaw, or even Subtlety, you can play as a rogue. You're gonna perform well. As you can see on the screen, the AoE damage is actually very nice. It's very consistent. It doesn't have very high burst like Subtlety has, but the damage consistency it's very good. And for high keys, I believe that's gonna be more important than a very high burst on the initial seconds of the fight. Now for the single target. As we can see on the screen, our single target is actually one of the best of the 3 rogue specs. It has an initial burst. As we can see, we went to more than 100k damage on the boss, and with the implacable talent, which is one of our apex talents, we almost cannot run out of energy if we manage our energy correctly, at least on single target. That's one of the really good things that as a rogue has right now with the current state of the spec. But if you guys aren't sure how to utilize and maximize your implacable talent, I have the perfect guide that's gonna be on the top right corner of the screen. There you can click and watch the guide if you want, and I explain there everything about how to play as a rogue on Midnight. So you guys feel free to watch that video if you want. So now Outlaw. This is the most misleading spec right now. It's fast, it's flashy, and it looks insanely strong. But comes with a cost. It's high APM, RNG, and consistent decision making spec. If your execution isn't clean, your damage falls apart. So a quick tip, if you can't maintain 100% pressure all of the time, don't play it. Because it has very high potential, but it's inconsistent for most players. So as we can see on the screen right now, the AoE damage is very consistent, like as a rogue, but the higher RNG on the rolls, it's what makes this spec not very good to play. We are relying too much on the rolls, and the rolls are not very good. So if we don't get a jackpot, the damage just don't feels that great. That's basically the problem of the spec right now. They need to fix the roll bombs. If they don't fix it, it's gonna be a problem, because we are gonna rely always on the jackpot to get the maximum damage, and if you don't get a jackpot, your damage won't feel great at all. So our single target it's actually a bit of a problem, because again, if we don't have the jackpot, it won't feel very good, because the damage won't ramp up as much as we want, and as it should. So as you can see on the screen, comparing to as a rogue, it's not the best, and if you compare it to Subtlety, it's just the worst. But the fight goes longer enough, the damage ramps up. As everyone knows, when we just dispatch, we get our CDs a little bit of cooldown reduction, so we can utilize that on the fight to get the damage ramping up. But that's basically it for Outlaw. There's not much that you can do to ramp up your damage if you don't have good RNG and if you don't hit the jackpot. Of course, as we know, with the tier set, we want to utilize Blade Rush as much as we can, because the tier set improves 30% on the AoE damage and an additional 15% on the single target damage. So we want use Blade Rush on cooldown. And of course we want to use Between the Eyes after we use Blade Rush, because of the 15% increase damage on the single target. Again, if you guys are unsure how to play Outlaw, I have the perfect guide that's also gonna be on the top right corner of the video, so you guys can click it and watch the guides if you are unsure how to play Outlaw. Now, Subtlety. This is where the things change. It has high bursts, you have full control of your damage, and is extremely good with priority targets. And in early midnight, this matters more than anything. You don't need perfect uptime, you need strong windows. So quick tip, if you play around your burst, timing is everything. For example, as you can see on the screen right now, on the pull that we are doing on the Alderstar Academy dungeon, on the first pull, we could have started doing damage when the tank started to pull, because we have Trick of Trades. As I know, we can utilize much better the secret technique when we have a lot of targets on the screen. I just waited to the tank to gather everything so I can start doing some damage and utilize my burst. As you can see, we went straight to the first DPS on the meter, and the DPS was insane from the first second because we let the tank gather everything, and we utilized the best timing to use secret technique, which gave us a lot of damage on the first seconds of the fight. So you always want to utilize that, and the timing, as we said, is everything. So as we saw, and as we can see on the screen right now, Subtlety has one of the best, if not the best, AoE damage of the 3 rogue specs. I believe it's actually the best spec, but this is actually personal opinion, but we're gonna go through that in a moment. But our AoE target, it's just insane. The rotation is really simple. We just press 3 or 4 buttons at maximum. But yeah, for the AoE, that's it. Our single target, it's actually one of the most powerful single targets on the game right now, because of the buff that we got on the last week. And if you guys didn't know, Deathstalker, it's gonna be buffed the next week on the next reset. So we're gonna be able to move the Deathstalker mark between targets and everything. So it's gonna be really good. So we're gonna see how that impacts Subtlety and as a rogue, because Outlaw doesn't have Deathstalker. But our single target was massively improved on the last patch, and it's one of the best of the game. So again, if you guys are unsure how to play Subtlety, I have the perfect guide for you guys. That's gonna be on the top right corner of the screen, so you guys can watch that guide as well. The final verdict. This is just my opinion, but I believe this is gonna be the overall opinion right now. So best for overall, even for solo content and everything, I believe Subtlety it's better right now. Even with the force set, because everything that we tested on this video was with the force set. The most consistent right now it's Assassination, and the highest skill gap is of course Outlaw. Alright guys, so thank you for watching this video. I hope this video helped in any form possible. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and a subscribe, that will really help me. My name is Mujgit, and I see you on the next video.